everyone. It's Angela Stevens with the podcast Refocus Careers. And I have got an amazing individual that was on our Focus podcast. And his name is John Bergmann. If you've never heard of him, you might have heard about his flip method, or you might have read one of his books. But he's an incredible individual that's done so many things. But overall, he's a teacher, and he's gone away and come back right back to the high school classroom. So today we have John Bergmann with us. So John, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to be with you, Angela.
Awesome. So tell me, when you were younger and you were growing up, did you always want to be a teacher? In high school, did you want to be a teacher?
No. I wanted to be the president.
Did you really? I
Yeah,
love that. No, really?
I totally did. Yeah, totally wanted to be president.
Okay. So did you, I'm curious about this. Did you like find out what it takes to be a president?
Not really. I mean, that was like my little kid, John. And then when I got to high school, I had this chemistry teacher who took me under my wings, or under her wings. She was amazing. And I got to college and I said, I want to be a chemical engineer because she was this chemistry teacher. My brother, in fact, had her, and he became a chemical engineer, and to a large extent because of Edie Myers. Shout out to her. And that's where I started as a chemical engineering major. So, but then I mean, I don't know if you want the whole story, but
I do, yes.
So I kind of figured out what engineering was. So I was in engineering school. I was getting straight A's or close to it. I might have a B or something, but I was doing really well. And I kind of said, they don't have that a lot of people interaction. And I had a kind of a counselor, an older person, probably in their 30s, who she would come on campus and meet with college kids and mentor them. I was being mentored by her and her husband, really, but her more. And I was saying, I'm not sure what I should major in. And she said, you know what you ought to do is just get a piece of paper out, pros, cons, what you like and don't like, and I bet it'll come to you. And so I remember going to the college under a tree on college, Oregon State University, go Beavers. And I put positives and negatives, what I liked. I love science, I love people and all this kind of stuff. And like it just popped and it said, teacher, science teacher. And I looked at that and said, that is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. They don't make any money. There's no prestige in it. I'm out. And so I walked around campus for 2 weeks, mad. And I had recently come to Jesus. I'm a Christian, and I fought with God. I said, God, no way, no way. And 2.5 weeks later, I walked into my chemical engineering advisor and said, I'm going to switch my major. And he thought I was crazy because I was this, budding engineering. I don't know if it was a prodigy. I wasn't that, but good student. And I changed my major, and best thing I ever did. So.
I love that. And your major was it education?
Science education.
And you can be a teacher and have different types of careers or educations. I mean, you can change it and do more. I find it so fascinating you said that, John, because my husband is an engineer, mechanical engineer, and my son went to college and he went into the engineering program, and he came home one weekend, and I'll never forget this. We're in my car and he's looking straight ahead. And I said, why did you go to school to be an engineer? And I knew he wasn't happy. And he looked straight ahead, and I said, it was because of my husband, wasn't it? And he said, how did you know? And I said, I'm your mom. Of course I know. I said, you need to figure out what you want to do, and you need to figure out what you want to do to be happy, right? Because at the end of the day, when I interview parents, I say, what is it that you want for your child or your son, your daughter? And it's always to be happy. That's the goal. It really is. And so he changed his major as well because he realized he wasn't, and he knew there was more math to come. Actually, I knew that he struggled with that. So that's really interesting. So then you go and you teach, right? And what was the thing that made you leave teaching, and why was it pulling you away at that time?
So right when Aaron and I were writing that book up in the mountains of Colorado, where we kind of helped develop the flip learning model, I was invited by the governor of Colorado and a number of people to be on this commission to help rewrite the standards for the state of Colorado, the state standards. And so, and this is a group that met for 2 years, I will say. And there was the head of the Colorado Community College System, the provost of the community college, Dr. Jerry Anderson. Her and I would sit next to her, being good friends, and she kept saying, John, you should leave the classroom. I said, nah, She said, John, you're gonna have a bigger impact if you leave the classroom. John, you should leave the classroom. And, and it was the right decision to leave the classroom after 24 years and go and do what I did, in terms of with speaking around the world and working with teachers. And that was great. It was a great season. But then I realized that season was done. I didn't need to be traveling the whole world anymore. I mean, it's also hard on the family when you're traveling and I mean,
It is.
167,000 miles in 1 year on one airlines at one point. I mean, that's crazy. I was different
Right.
cities and towns, and I just felt the pull. I mean, honestly, I was back in it was January of 2019. This is how the story went, and I was with some folks who had adopted the model, flip learning model, and I was with them at a conference in Florida, and they were telling their stories about the impacts they're having with their kids, and I was about to cry, and I'm thinking maybe this is something I need to do, and then my wife and I had a 2-week getaway. We did unplugged and just spent time walking through the hills. It was in Arizona. We were in Sedona, walking around, taking hikes. And I said, I need to get back in the classroom. And so here I am. So
I love that. As individuals, I'm a business owner. I've owned my business for years. And there comes a point where we all want to better ourselves, right? We all want to do the bigger thing. Or sometimes, not all of us, but sometimes we want to learn more, right? And we want to be more. And sometimes we realize that we really had it great, and because I left it at some point in my search firm, and then I came back because I loved what I was doing. So, but we have to have those answers in life that come back to us. So I always tell people that are in careers that are looking at different careers just to keep an open mind, because it can take you on a journey that might go to places or it might bring you right back. Right. And you are a perfect example of that. Well, first of all, I love it. And you are teaching at the Houston Christian High School. Is that correct?
yes,
That's right. You know what? Those kids are so lucky to have you. And you are teaching physics and what else?
geology.
And one more, right? Or is that it? Just physics
That's
and
it.
geology? Okay, great. That's enough, right? That's
Used
enough.
to chemistry, but somebody retired, and so chemistry's been my main teaching thing through my career. But we have a new teacher, and I said, sure, she can have my chemistry class. So
Love it, love it. Well, like I said, I love what you do. He's written so many books. His most recent book is Mastering what was it called? Mastering something techniques.
Mastery Learning Handbook.
Yeah, let's try to say it right. And we'll put a link on there as well. But he's got so many books that you should check out. Go to johnbergman.com. I know you can even write to him if you have any questions or something. But if you're thinking about a teaching career, I would say that you're listening to one of the most inspiring teachers I've ever met that has worldly experience that has brought it back and is changing lives. So I thank you so much, John, today for your knowledge and your advice. And like I said, if you didn't hear from him today, check him out on our Refocus podcast. But if you want to be a teacher, listen to this over and over, and by the end of it, I'm sure you'll decide to do the same thing. So thank you again.
You're welcome. It's been great.